Hello, everyone. This is Clay Chase with Torrey Hills Capital, and welcome to the Silver Tiger Metals Non-Deal Roadshow presentation for November 18th, 2020. I trust and hope you're all well and having a great week so far. We have a very interesting and timely presentation today with a company that we feel is particularly well positioned to benefit from the recent and quite dramatic upward trend for precious metals pricing. The price of silver is currently just a little under $25 an ounce. I think it's $24.66 when I just looked at it today. It recently hit $30 an ounce. That's about 60% up from the $14 per ounce level we experienced just a few months ago. So this is a really, really good time to be taking a close look at a company that we believe is on the cusp of delineating a large, high-grade silver district, possibly along the same lines of what Silvercrest Metals did with their Las Chispas property, which now has a market cap well in excess of $1.5 billion, $1.6 billion right now. So it's a very, very big situation. Following today's presentation, will last about 45 minutes. We'll have a short Q&A session. If you have a question during the presentation, simply click on the Q&A icon on the Zoom taskbar, type in your question. We'll be sure it gets addressed at that time. Also, you can raise your hand and we'll light up your microphone. Remember, you have to turn your microphone on your end as well so we can hear you. Also, post-presentation, we'll be sending you a short survey. Please get that back to us in a timely manner so we can get it back to the company. Let's get started. Silver Tiger Metals is an exploration stage junior mining company with primary operations in Mexico. Silver Tiger's flagship property is the El Tigre project located in the state of Sonora, Mexico, and hosts what, by all accounts, based on both historical production and early exploration work, looks to be a massive high-grade silver project. This is a district-scale play covering several high-grade epithermal vein systems along a strike of roughly 20 miles. Past production from El Tigre mine, located in the heart of this project area, was roughly 100 million ounces of silver produced at an average grade of 2 kilograms per ton. That's 2,000 grams per ton average. So this really is hallowed ground in terms of historical silver production. Silver Tiger Metals is fully cashed up, has an extensive 10,000-meter drill program ongoing with 3 drills turning full-time. So we expect to see a lot of data coming out of as they execute the current drill program. Silver Tiger trades on the OTCQX exchange under the ticker symbol SLVTF, and on the TSX Venture Exchange as SLVR. Currently trading around 37 cents US, represents a market cap of around $78 million. With us today to discuss Silver Tiger Metals operations, current drill program, and near-term investment catalyst is the company's president and CEO, Mr. Glenn Jessome. Hi, Glenn. How are you today?
Hi, how are you? Nice to be with you again. And thank you for your audience who's listening.
You bet. Well, we're glad to have you, and we're excited, and we're all ears to hear all about Silver Tiger Metals. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Well, look, the first thing I like to say to anyone who's considering investing in a precious metals play anywhere is make sure you check out the track record of the team you're dealing with. Firstly, that's what I do when I invest. I invest in many silver and gold precious metals plays, and then find out how long that team has been in the jurisdiction they want you to invest in them with, and those are the boxes you need to tick. Without track record in a specific jurisdiction, it's just so hard to do this. And then at the end, ask them how much of their own money they bet. We've bet, we own 15% of the company. We bought all our stock, my management team. And that management team have been in Mexico for 25 years out of Halifax, Nova Scotia. It's the only place we do mining transactions, deals. We built 3 large mines in that period. We'll talk a little bit about some of them. In that same period, we've developed 2 more that we sold to majors. The last one 2 years ago to a company, one of our deposits we developed. We sold at Santa Gratuitas to a company called Agnico Eagle. You all know who they are. So that's what we do in Mexico. This asset, 80 kilometers from the U.S. border, is in the state of Sonora. We have already determined in our minds it will be an economic deposit, which means there will be a mine here. Either we'll build it or we'll sell it to a major who will. That's just what we do in our track record. We're going to talk a little bit about the deposit first, about how we got it, what we have. Then I got to talk about the team, because without the team, you don't have the asset with that track record in Mexico, and you can't exploit it. My job is, I'm not a geologist. My job with this group for 25 years has been, I'm a securities lawyer. I build companies here in Canada on our TSX. I actually have sat for almost a decade on the National Advisory Committee for the TSX Venture Exchange. That means I advise our regulator here. That means you've done good deals for a long time. Many of them have been with this group, the vast majority. So my job is threefold. When we see an asset, go and acquire it. Number two, when we have an asset, build a public company here in Canada, as Silver Tiger is, to trade with that asset. And then if we don't build the mine and we sell it to a major like we did to Agnico a couple of years ago, to basically be on the front end of that transaction and get that done. It was very timely here in the bottom of the market in 17 when my team, technical team, said, actually they wanted me to come to Mexico for this one. They had found this El Tigre asset and we needed to have it. It's always the same, guys. It's never for sale. And it wasn't in this case. It was owned by a public company called El Tigre Silver that was based out of Vancouver, Canada. So I went and we did our due diligence. And the team convinced me we needed to have this. Why? It was 35 kilometers long, 30,000 hectares. There was all kinds of good things. 25 kilometers in the Sierra Madre. I just went through it, but make no mistake why we had it and had to have it. That little blue line is about 1.5 kilometers in our land package. Everything inside the gold box we own. We'll get back to that. That was the old El Tigre mine. 1908 to 1930-ish, 25 years, it produced 100 million silver equivalent ounces at an average grade of over 2 kilograms per ton. Made it the highest grade silver mine we'd ever seen in Mexico. Look, there's no new discovery in Mexico. Let's lay that down right now. All of our mines, all of the ones we've built or we've developed and sold, were either old Spanish or American mines that basically we looked for big deposits under and around the head frames of these old mines. Cheesepaw, Silvercrest, just to the south of us, we'll talk about them, was the exact same thing. That's how deposits are found in Mexico. This old mine, we had to have it. Why? And this project, because even though the 100 million ounces were already gone, the old timers didn't get all of it for sure. We knew also around that mine was a 100-meter wide gold halo of mineralization that my team said they'd give me a 1 million ounce gold resource, 43-101, within a year of owning it. I'll show you how we did that because they did that. But the real prize was we saw for the 3 kilometers of the north, the same veins from the old mine, continuing north, and they'd never been mined. And they were also in that wide gold halo. Look, we had to have it, so management didn't want to sell it, so I dealt with the major shareholders in Edmonton, smart guys. I went to see them. That's in Western Canada. I convinced them that they should sell the asset to us because of our great experience there, and together we would move this forward. It's been a win-win for both groups. We bought it for $12 million at the bottom of the market, Canadian, in about 2017, and we've been just exploring it and spending exploration dollars on it ever since, and I'll show you what we've done and what we're doing today and what we're going to do, because we bought a district. And at the end, I'll show you some of the exciting things we keep exploring as we keep stepping out away from our core brownfields area. Other things we loved, and I don't know how much you know about mining in Mexico. Accessibility is always important. Our team's been in Hermosillo, Mexico, a city of 1 million people, 2 hours to the south. This highway here, 17, continues on to the U.S. border. We're 80 kilometers from your U.S. border. We come down this highway about 2 hours and we drive right to site. That's beautiful. We've got about $10 million, we're guessing, exploration roads built across the entire deposit here, which gives us great access for exploration. Those were great things. Look, this is all ranch land. That's the beautiful part about it. No ejido. Ejido in Mexico means no native people issues. All of our mines in the past, we've had to deal with that. It's just a little more complicated. You always get it done. Here, this is all ranch land. So we have agreements with all of the ranchers to explore all of it. And actually, this little area here, not quite to scale, where all of our exploration is, the rancher was willing to sell me. Not only do I have the mineral rights in the 30,000 hectares, he sold me the land. A couple of years ago for 1.1 million. So I own the land also. It just makes it simpler to put that under our control quickly. We know there will be a mine. here someday. Other things we liked is nobody had given the royalty away. You know what a royalty is. That is a royalty that you can exploit or sell on your exploration or your resource project. On Santa Gratuitous, we sold to Unique over 110 million. 20 million of that was royalty. So nice here that we have the full royalty fully intact, not given away. I'll be able to put that to great use down the road. Last things I'll say is through serendipity, there's a high transmission power line that runs right through the project here to Nakasari, where a lot of copper mines around us. That's where the smelter is. Lots of water on site for our exploration, but nice to have 15, 20 kilometers away this beautiful dam put in by the Mexican government just for the farmers in the valley next to us. So we'll have unlimited water supply down the road. Let's take a tour of the neighborhood quickly. We're going to rotate this, and you'll see this is the terrain, and we're now looking completely south. Look, this is that Sierra Madre trend. You can just see it. It goes for 1,000 kilometers. We've all heard about the silver and gold in the Sierra Madre. Well, that's exactly where we explore. You can see very close to us is the Carotid mine, a big copper mine. But the first one I want to talk about, 125 kilometers. That was our Santa Gratuitous, our same team out of Halifax, same technical team. 4 years ago, identified another public company called Analyst. This is all of public fact. Trading in Vancouver, actually. I was summoned to Mexico again. We must acquire it, and we did. They thought it was a moly deposit. We thought it was a good gold deposit. We acquired it for $9 million USD. We bought that public company just like we did with El Tigre on Silver Tiger deposit. And we spent $9 million on it over 2 years, same technical team. And we sold to Ignique Weagle very quickly for 110 million USD. Really nice deal for our group, but just shows what this technical team is capable of. And I'm so lucky to have them now, exploiting and attacking the Silver Tiger El Tigre asset. Look,
Hey, Glenn,
yes, sir.
I think we have a question from the board.
Yes.
Go ahead with your question. Hello?
I don't know if I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I don't have a name here, but it's the register is 810-700.
Okay.
Well, I thought we had a question, but I guess we'll just go. Sorry about that, Glenn.
You can get back to it, or they can type it in, and I think most of the things I find in this presentation get answered at the end. But
Okay.
if not, we'll look at that again. Look, a lot of analysts. I think you have a lot of the analyst coverage. Basically that you provide. We're being covered by many banks starting in the summer out of Toronto. This is independent mining geologists and engineers, independent research. Most of them are calling for, we're about 52 cents now Canadian. They're calling for $1.30, $1.40 across the board. But a lot of them are starting to allude to that we are or could be the next Silvercrest. They're just to the south of us. Look, we know Eric Fear, the job he's done there. He took Silvercrest in 2016-17 from 3.3 million to 1.7 billion today. So we've got a lot of work to do. But when we acquired this in 2017, we knew the similarities. I can tell you what the similarities are for sure. They're low sulfidation epithermal systems. We'll talk about that. And they were both old mines from 1900 to 1930. This was a foreign-owned mine, just like ours was American-owned. This was Swiss, I think. And they both sat there for 80 years. That's hard to believe until Eric got his and we dusted ours off. Why did they? Because silver went from $1.33, you heard of the Great Depression, to less than 20 cents. All these silver mines in Mexico closed and most of them stayed dormant. And as I said, new discovery in Mexico is always under and around the old head frames of Spanish or foreign-owned mines. This is no different. Eric has drilled what the old timers left him at that old mine. It's been an incredible success story. We're just starting to do that, and our first results came out of that super high-grade silver veins yesterday. We're a little different in that we also have a wide gold alteration zone around our silver veins, I'll show you, that makes our mining not just underground silver mining, but amenable to open pit. And we'll show you some of the things we've done to prove that.
Hey,
I've got to
Glenn?
go back. Yes, sir.
I have a quick question here. You talk about a lot of these historical projects when silver went down under $1,
Mm-hmm.
but now with silver at $24, can you give us some ideas of some of the modern technology that allows you to see down below the ground better than those guys could? Those guys had to follow outcrop.
Well,
and then
Yes.
drift into these deposits to find them and exploit them. How are you able to do much better than they were able to do?
Well, I mean, there was no, before we talk about that, I'll show you later in the presentation how they did it. I have diagrams on that. They did drifting on the mains. We see all kinds of that. And I'll show you some of the stuff they did. They didn't have diamond drilling. They had drilling for the explosives underground to mine it. It was a cut and fill operation, but they just didn't drill. You know, we're so fortunate that basically we can drill, but it's amazing what they left us. Like
That's
the
great.
work that they did, it was moved our exploration forward 10 years. So just be a little patient, and we're going to get to that. I just don't want to jump all over the presentation. They're going to see exactly how they helped us. But,
Okay.
you know, we grabbed 1 million ounces they left for us that they didn't grab just around the old mine in less than a year. Lots more of that to come. Stay tuned for that. But we got to talk about the team, because I'm going to tell you right now, but for this technical team, don't invest in me. I'm a securities lawyer from Halifax. It's, you know, I'm a mining executive, but without the team, you cannot. And that track record in Mexico of building mine after mine after mine and developing and selling to majors, that's everything. I would never invest in a guy in Mexico who said, I'm going to build my first mine. Everybody has to. It's a long road. And that gray hair we have there is what sets us apart from our peers as far as we're concerned. Dave Duncan is a big part of that. Dave, a 40-year geologist from Halifax. I built Silver Tiger as a public company for him. His last gig before that was Etruscan Resources out of Halifax. This is all matter of fact. He found 2 big deposits in Africa, Agbo and Yuga. On the basis of that, Etruscan was sold just before I built Silver Tiger for Dave to a company called Endeavor Mining. They were the core assets of that big Vancouver mining company. And I think they announced this week Endeavor Mining and Teranga just did a merger of equals multi-billion-dollar deal. So that's the kind of pedigree that I started with in the company. And we didn't want to go back to Africa. We'd been working with Ramon Luna, our exploration geologist out of Mexico at that point for 20 years. Putting these 2 teams together in the last 5 or 6 years has been magic. Before that, so you know our track record, and you can go check it. Our group at Halifax, our first mine was Ocampo, went to $2.2 billion on your NYSE in Mexico. After we'd mined it for a long time, it was sold to Carlos Slim for $750 million. He's a Mexican. He privatized it, and that mine is still producing 26 years later. He owns it. El Cubo was our next mine, put it in production with our team led by Ramon Luna out of Halifax, our team here, and produced for a long time. In the end, it was sold to Endeavor Silver for $250 million. The next asset we built or developed was Orion. That was sold to basically, excuse me, Capital Gold, an American company that was in turn sold to Alamos. This is our track record. We find and build deposits that become mines. We build or we sell them. I just told you what happened with Santa Gratuitas. That was the first one that these 2 worked on hand in hand. Within 2 years of acquiring the public company that thought they had a moly deposit, we sold it to Agnico Eagle for $110 million USD. Beautiful deal. And now we're exploiting El Tigre. Let's go talk about the deposit. And it's very, very important. And I think we're going to start right here so I can orient everybody on exactly what we're looking at. Look, I love to show the Americans how big of a mine this was. I have a little photo here. Let's just have a look at that. I think that's it. That was the old mine, 1920, I think that picture was. Incredible, 1,000 people up there. Big American mine. They ran the power from Douglas, Arizona. Fantastic. The old timers went home and they only got a little bit of the ore. I'll show you how we grabbed a million ounces of gold in less than a year, and we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg there. But most people find that interesting. Here's what we're going to be talking about for the rest of the presentation, the next half hour or so, is only the 6 kilometers, which I consider the brownfields in the middle of our 35-kilometer land package. I'll show you some of the stuff we're seeing to the north. But we're not going to have time on brownfields. Look, on greenfields, that's 15 kilometers all in our land. 3 more mines down there. We've been in all of them, high-grade gold and silver. But we're going to focus on drilling resource ounces and moving to economics on this area right in the middle. Look, you have to understand the geology a little bit. And this is our geological plan map. Still, keep reminding you, we're only going to talk about the 6 kilometers right in the middle where we've done our work. Look, what you need to know is basic geology. All the big systems in Mexico are low sulfidation epithermal. Aro Campo, Agnicos, Pinos Altos, Cheese Paw just to the south of us, which is the Silvercrest asset that's been one of the biggest silver discoveries in probably the last decade. You have an upper volcanic, which really means just the top of the mountain. You have a lower volcanic, lower down towards the valley, and it's this transition zone in the middle. You can see it. I call it the yellow rock. We're going to talk about it a lot. It's a layer. It's called the El Tigre Formation. You can see it. It just is a layer that goes under the about 150 meters thick, the top of that mountain. It's always in this transition zone that you find in these epithermal systems, the veins. All those veins you see, that 6-7 kilometers of veins, they're all daylight. We walk on them. And not only do we have high-grade silver veins from surface, and we'll show you the drill results for that, but it's in this wide 100, 125 meter El Tigre structure. Why is that important? Because remember, we just delivered 1 million ounces around the old mine. All we drilled was the halo around it. The high-grade silver veins, some of them, one of the three, were gone. Why was that deposit there? Because it was a clavos. A high-grade ore chute was developed at that mine, the highest grade we've ever seen. We'll show you that underground. Because the El Tigre and the Sites Kelly vein came together. Why did we really acquire this? This was mined out, and there's probably a couple of million ounces there. We've already grabbed 1 million ounces of gold on a first pass. I'll show you how we get more. But the next 3 to 4 kilometers, and these continue, these veins, 10, 12 kilometers on our land package either way. But what we saw here was we thought another ore chute developing right here. Because those same veins, they're the same veins going north. They basically were coming together again. And we've drilled, our first drill results just came out from here. We had in our last program is holes as high of 1 meter of 10 kilos silver. We'll show you some of them, incredible grade, just like at the old mine. So we've got a drill here, here, and here turning right now in all this unmined area. The results so far have been spectacular. The beauty is, not only up here where we have the wide gold zone, none of these veins were ever mined. That's the exciting part. And, you know, that's the next story. What we're starting to see evolve to just to the north is the next El Tigre mine. And, you know, what was the value of that mine today? 100 million silver equivalent ounces at 2 kilos. It would be pretty incredible. It would be billions of dollars. So work to do yet, but so far so good. And I'll show you what we're doing. Let's keep on trucking here. The old historic mine, you have to understand it. And we had to understand it because if you're going to look for the next one and the next one, what you have to understand about Mexico, a big 10 million ounce deposit is not one big 10 million ounce mine or open pit. What you have is these ore chutes or clavos. They occur along the trend. In our Ocampo mine, it was 10 million ounces. There was 8 of them. Pinos Altos goes for 10 kilometers, multiple pits where you go underground in these ore chutes. This mine was the first ore chute the old timers found. It was an incredible mine. You're looking at a real 3D model. We have all the underground mining records. We got them from the University of Wyoming. They were saved there. And we built this underground mine. What was really, really incredible about it, they went down 450 meters. Now, we know this goes, from our experience, for a kilometer. But remember, they stopped at 450 meters. 1929, everybody went home. That's why there is a cheese pot to the south of us. They just stopped mining, and these both sat, these assets, for 80 years. Incredible as that sounds, that happened. But what I really want to show you is the black. You can see the 15 mine levels, big underground American mine. But that black, that's the stope. That's what they mined out. I'm going to go plan view so you can look down from the top. And this is a 3D mine a model we've built. We have all the stope maps of the mine. You can see that the black almost disappears. The old timers, all they wanted was a meter. That's just how super high grade this mine was. And why was it so super high grade? I mean, they were taking a meter of, and I'll show you how that happened, because that ore chute formed because the El Tigre vein, which keeps going north, we're drilling on now, and the Sites Kelly vein right here came together. And that formed that clavos, like we're seeing to the north, where the veins have come together again. The grade out here was a kilo they were mining. They went down half a kilometer for it. In here, 10, 15, 20, as high as 50 kilograms. We have all the underground mining records. So that was really incredible. Remember, that was all gone. What we knew quickly and what we did is phase 1, we know from our experience there's 100 meter wide, and that's 1 million ounces of gold right there that we drilled on in less than a year when we first got the project. We're only starting on that. We're going to see, and why it's important, drill holes you're going to see to the north are going to have the high-grade veins still intact, but they're going to be also in this wide gold zone, which makes it, as you know, amenable to open pit mining. And that's really what we're proving here. We drilled all of our holes only in the top 150 meters. That's where this beautiful yellow rock I talked about ends. And then it gets tight, and then you go down underground mining after that, like the old timers did. The next one will show you really how we did this. We drilled 12,000 meters. We bought 10,000 meters from the public company I acquired. And you can see it. That's 1 million ounces of gold and down to 150 meters. The high-grade vein already gone. But the exciting part is that's only 20% of the way done. We've stepped out a half kilometer here where there was no mining. We had 1.5 meters, 10 grams. We're going to fill that in. This vein here, what we call the Sites Kelly, we never drilled that. That's 1 kilometer long. There's a big halo there. But this is the real exciting one. And this is what the old timers left us really, is this is the vein on the west side, the Sui. That's where they stopped mining in 1929. That's where they were. That vein continues unmined for 1.5 kilometers. And they only went 5 levels here. And we have the records from the bottom level of that. Everything that they were mining at that time was 2 kilos. So we've got a 4th drill actually coming to the mountain now. The other 3 are drilling the high grade to the north that's not been mined. And it's going to fill this vein in, and we're going to add ounces. We're going to take all this high grade here, and we're going to drill deeper down under where they stop mining here. That 1 million ounces is going to go greatly up. We're going to see the grade go way up. It's open pit material. We think if at the end it'll be a 2-to-1 strip, which is very, very low just because of the way it's a dip slope deposit on the side of the hill. And we're going to do the rest of the work next spring to do the geotechnical drilling. So that by this time next year for sure, you'll see a new resource estimate for our project. That 1 million ounces will go way up, and there'll be economics in that. What we do, the only way you create value in Mexico, drill off real 43-101 ounces and move them towards economics with a preliminary economic assessment. That's what we did to Salto Ignico. Or that's what you do if you're going to build a mine. Just drilling holes here, there, and everywhere and looking for high-grade hits to impress the retail investors. If you're looking for that, that's not what we do. We have been given already by the analysts, and Play will send you those reports, about 90 million for what we've drilled off already in a NAV. I expect that's going to go greatly up. Our market cap's about 130, 135 Canadian. We always want our NAV to be very close to our market cap because that's real value. That's not dependent on every drill hole you hit. You're building real asset. So look, you know what we've done at the old mine. You know what we're going to do. That's the start of the story. Let's get to the exciting part, because that really is wonderful stuff, but it's not what we consider the exciting part of the story. And let's go up to the northern vein extensions, and we're going to go underground, and I'm going to basically show you guys sort of why we're most excited and where all the new drill results you're seeing that came out yesterday and will come out during the rest of the year, early next year are. And I'm going to orient everybody. We're now underground, and for 1.5 kilometers, the old El Tigre mine goes to the south. You know what we did there, first pass, 20% of the way done. That resource is going to get way better. The old timers left us all kinds of high grade. They left us that much more of that alteration zone. But these 3 kilometers here going north, they never minded. And that's the exciting, that was always the exciting part for us. And why we were most excited, that was 1.7 kilometers. And we looked at all this before we acquired it. We saw these same veins coming together, 4 of them in this area right in the middle. And we said, if there's another Clavos, this will be the area where we think it is. So end of our last program, and we've confirmed it, we've had 4 holes out of 10 yesterday that had results more than 1 kilo in them. One or two of them maybe over 2 kilos. So yeah, absolutely proving our theory. But the end of our last program, why we decided we needed to have this, and I'm going to drag this over. This is real underground 3D models. You can see those veins. And that's our real drill hole, exactly where it was. One of our last drill holes was 144. And, close to surface, 50 meters from surface, we intercepted the Cayley vein, named after. We discovered it, my 16-year-old daughter now. You'll do anything to impress your 16-year-old daughter, and the gentleman on the phone will understand that. We hit, an incredible hole, 1 meter of 10 kilos, 7.3 of real silver. Why was that important for us in our first test holes up here? That's exactly what the old timers were going after down 1 kilometer, 1.7, 1.8 kilometers to the south in the old mine. So that was important. We let the drill just continue on. The veins are so close together. They've all come together. We get into what we call the Protectora vein up here. and we got 1.5 meters of a kilo. So our first drill started turning here mid-September as we get back to work, fully funded. And you saw the first 10 drill holes come out of there. Yesterday were our first results. They were fantastic. I'll show you a cross section to show you some of those in a few minutes. But before we do that, I'll just let you know where the other 2 drills are drilling and when they have been drilling since. We set some fantastic preliminary results up here. We had a shallow drill hole with 22 or 23 grams per ton gold, more than a kilo silver. So basically, we started drilling with our second drill rig. This one started September 15th. This one started about October 7th, our second drill rig this year. You'll see the next set of results will come out from this area before Christmas. We're very pleased with what we're seeing up here, and we'll continue to turn that drill up there and bring some results. That's about 1.5 kilometers further north from here, where the first drill turned, in all this unmined vein material, which is the same as at the old mine. The third drill has been on the mountain probably about 2 weeks. It's probably got 3 to 4 holes cut now. I'm just guessing on that. And what we did is we went all the way south, and basically just north of the old mine, a couple 100 meters, we started drilling into the unmined veins down there. You'll expect some results. I don't know if we'll get those before Christmas. We like to build up a nice inventory before we report, but that'll be the third kind of shoe to fall as we have these 3 drills covering this 3 kilometers of unmined strike length. And when you add all these veins up, you're probably looking at much more than 10 kilometers of strike length here just in the veins that we're testing right now. Let's go look at the cross sections. I think this will tie it all together for everybody. Now, this is a cross section. I just showed you where we drilled 144, right in the middle where we thought that clavos was. And these are the number of holes that we now have in that section. I'm going to explain what it looks like. It looks a little busy, but this really sums up what we're doing to the north. You have, from surface, this 150-meter beautiful LT gray formation. That is that yellow rock I showed you, the layer. And that is the stuff that's from surface. And remember about the old mine. All the veins were mined out. We drilled off just in this 1 million ounces. Because what happens is the silver really stays tight in the vein. And the gold disseminates outside of that for upwards of 50, 60, 70 meters on each side. Great stuff, gram and a half material that we test with the drill bit also. You can see some of those results starting to come here. The old mine was backwards. The old timers took all the high grade and we drilled off on a first pass 1 million ounces in the pit. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful starter pit down there. But imagine to the north, we're drilling basically not only in the first 150 meters, the high-grade veins, which are intact, you're seeing the results, but we also see the wide zone of alteration, all from surface. We walk on it. That will be amenable to open pit mining. So, if our theory is right, and we think it is, the first, top layer, like at the old mine, 150 meters, will be taken out in an open pit. And then these veins continue with the super high grade, and then you can see the results continuing down. That will go for another 700, 800 meters, like the old timers went after it underneath that, very deep. So first drill results, we could not be happier with. You can see the press release. I think I have it over here. Let me just show it to you from yesterday. Our first 10 holes we drilled right here, and I'll go back to the cross section. I mean, 4 of them, 2 kilos, 1.5 kilos, 1.1 and 1.2 kilos. Holes not even making it or anything with a half kilo. All of them had great grade. You can go look at that press release. It's public. Let's go back to the cross section and I'll explain a little bit more about what we're looking at there. But you can see what we're starting to do. We're starting to not only build the vein, but this wide zone of gold alteration around it. Very, very good results. I mean, you see that 0.8 meters of 10 kilos, 0.7 of a kilo, 3 meters of a kilo. Even deep down, we're starting to hit stuff that's a kilo. Those are incredible results. The next section, we step out. Now we're stepping out 25 meters north at a time. That's how we do it. This is a cross section for the earth, 25 meters north. The next set of drills go down. And you can see those intercepts here very close to surface. I mean, we're talking 10, 15 meters from the surface, hitting half a meter of 2 kilos. And as we step down, the next hole is a half meter of 1.5, and there's a half kilo there. But it's also these wide zones around it. Look at this. Look what we're starting to see here, 10 meters of 3 or 4 grams per ton gold outside of it. And that's the beautiful stuff that makes it from surface amenable to taking out pits. So we're very excited about what we're seeing. We're going to just keep stepping north with the drill rig that's there, and you'll see it reported like this. It'll be just the next section, and it's just to educate people so when they see this, as you see any sections reported in press releases, 6650 is just kind of the line in the sand of where we are. And right in the middle where you saw us, we cut these holes. The next one, 6675, all that means is we move 25 meters north and we set the drill up and we cut that section down through. The next one will be 7125, probably, which means we went 50. That's how you drill these things off. You just keep going and create these sections where when you get enough drill holes in them, you've now just added ounces. And that's really what we do. So that's the kind of drilling you're going to see from us, and we'll report it like this. And exciting stuff. Somebody asked about the old timers before I kind of wrap up here. This is how the old timers do it. I have a slide for folks. This is that same exact area that the 3 kilometers where we're drilling. Drill here, here, and here. You just saw those beautiful drill results we had from here. What we did, you never just start drilling. What we did is we put boots on the ground for almost a year. And when we got up here, we quickly realized that before the old timers were home in 1929, 30, they were getting to the north. Lucky for us, they were home. This is how they explored. All those little red blobs you see, those are 20, 30, 40 meter exploration drifts. They didn't have any drilling. See, that's one of the ones at the bottom. That's an actual one we're in. We get in them, and they're safe. And they would drift into the vein, and that's how they'd sample it. A lot of work instead of just drilling down through with a drill machine. But that's how they did their work. So technology, of course, dig a hole like that to look at the vein, or just drill right through it in a day to look at the vein. It's pretty simple, which is the more efficient. But we got in all these openings, and it was incredible. Like, look at the stuff we found: 5 meters of 50 grams gold, 8 meters of 10. That's what they were sampling. Kind of lucky for us that silver went to less than 20 cents, and this mine and Cheese Paw just to the south was closed. And then we got to attack it with modern technology. So great question. And now you see how the old timers did it. They were getting there, but they just ran out of time, and economics sent them all home, luckily for us. We just wouldn't have the asset. I'm going to talk about one more thing, just to put this all in perspective. I told you what we acquired, and I was very excited about it. But this map is what I'm much more excited about. And what this is this is what we really bought. You can see our land package there on that's loaded. I mean, that's our claim box. You know, the gold one from the first page you saw? That's it. It's 35 kilometers long. But look inside. Look at the work we've now already done. Right here, and I'm blowing it up, that's 25 kilometers. That's Sierra Madre right in the middle I talked about. It's 25 kilometers long. That's what we bought. And to put it in perspective about how we are scratching the surface on this, and it's a district, make no mistake about it, that's what we bought. There is the old mine. You can see where the veins came together. The old timers took out that 100 million ounces of 2 kilos. We've already got 1 million ounces drilled off just in the first pass. And as you can see, there's the vein to the west. They never mind. It's open to the south. This will become so much better, but that's the only part that we've done our work on to deliver resource. Right now, that's the 4 kilometers to the north. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 drills turning. Think about how excited we are that this goes for 12 kilometers to the south, all in our land package, all in that beautiful yellow LT gray. We found 3 more mines down here. We've been in them, high-grade gold and silver. They've never had a drill bit. They will. We're mapping and sampling them now. Same thing to the north for another 10 kilometers. You can see all these little marks. These are all little underground mines we found, small exploration adits. Up here was the Polares mine. We've been in it, high-grade gold and silver. Never had a drill hole. We're mapping and sampling it now. The best one was when we got on the other side. I never used to own this. I had to add it 2 years ago, 6,000 hectares. That's a massive land package to have to add to one when you already have 24,000. In perspective, Cheese Paw, the old mine, that's 1,400 hectares where Silvercrest is. To put in perspective how big of an area we have. I added that, and why I added that was because, remember that top of the mountain I talked about? Well, that when we went on the other side of the mountain to have a peak, because our deposit was on this side, what came out on the other side but that beautiful LT gray? And what did we find? A whole vein set over there we've named Santa Maria. Unmined, high-grade veins, just like on this side. Never had a drill bit. We're excited about that. We're mapping and sampling now. it will not be early January. Our drilling for the next 6-7 months is going to focus here. But by next spring, you're going to see the next first drill holes out of here, and then later here and here. We're excited. Technology, when I asked that question, you know, we used to drag drill rigs around the mountain with dozers. HQ core, that's the wider core, that's what we drill. We drilled way more than 1 million meters of that in Mexico in our careers over 25 years. Now that rig is high tech. It's called a man portable HQ rig. It's in the back of a pickup truck, and it drills more core than the ones 3 or 4 years ago that were pulled around by bulldozers did. We'll get those rigs out here next spring. Stay tuned for that. But right now, this is our priority right here. That box you see, I guess it's here. We're going to add way more ounces back down here, and we're just going to keep adding ounces and cutting, you know, high grade silver veins. In wide golds of alteration to the north. That's what you should be looking for. So exciting. Look, you know, we're just scratching the surface here. We should talk about money. We are fully funded, probably $8 million Canadian in the bank. We've been exploring pretty hard. Let me just go back up here to the overview. It's a good spot to stop, and we can ask some questions from there. I was going to raise $8 million in August. We got back on the mountain. We were off the mountain with COVID until about June 1st, when we were made an essential service by the Mexican government exploration. So back on the mountain we go, and we then basically just got the camp ready. We told everybody we would not start drilling until the middle of September. We did, with that first drill in the middle. Second and third have now been added, and we told them we'd do that. I was going to raise about $8 million. That's all we really needed to get us probably through the spring, summer of next year drilling. We garnered a lot of attention in the summer. A lot of the analysts in Toronto, the banks, which you have their coverage, started coming out with, you know, high valuation estimates for us for the next 12 months, $1.30, $1.40 from the 56, 55 cents we're at now. They started saying, oh, we're the next Silvercrest. We've got a lot of work to do. Can we be? Absolutely. We're not there yet. We're just starting to do sort of what they did several years ago to get to their valuation. And money just got thrown at us. We were offered $25 million end of July, from a group led by Eric Sprott. He's a very famous Canadian resource investor. But more importantly for me, as part of that $25 million in a financing, I think it was at 30 cents, basically was 8 of those were the best institutions you want in your name: San Francisco, New York, Toronto, London, England, some from Hong Kong, that really wanted to partake with him. I think they were surprised when I said, that's way too much money, guys. We don't need that much now, maybe next year. So we agreed that we would take $11 million from them. Mr. Sprott got $4 million of that, and the other 8 institutions got about 30-35% of what they wanted, I think, on average, and they put in the other 7. So, you know, we've got back to work with that in the summer. We've probably spent $2.5 million of that so far, just getting everything ready on camp, getting those drills turning. So we're very well funded to drive those drills right into almost this time next year and deliver results. I'm the largest shareholder. I've got about 13 million shares ish with some stock options. Bought them all, $2 million of my own dollars. Remember what I said? Make sure the guy who wants you to invest, you're investing with him. I get out, more importantly, my management team. I talked about some of them, technical guys. Together we own about 15% almost of the company. No free stock for them. They put their own money where their mouth is. We don't get to sell our stock. We get out one of 2 ways. We build a mine, or we sell this to a major, full stop. We all report our shareholdings on what we call, you got Edgar, we got CDAR, and we don't go anywhere until we're done. So if you're investing with us, you're investing in the long term. We know we have an economic deposit. We can say that because we've built a lot of mines in Mexico. Is it done on paper yet? It's started. You can see our first ounces, but we'll move that to economics. And yeah, we're so excited to really get this asset. The hardest part was acquiring this in a down market for what we did from our great partners in Western Canada, and forming a team that's worked perfectly for our expertise to be able to attack this thing and exploit it. We raised $20 million in 17, 18, and 19. Well, you know what? Not many people cared about silver then, but we were miners. We just keep doing our thing. That allowed us to drill off that 1 million ounces. understand that old El Tigre mine, so that as we stepped out to the north for the next one that we're drilling now, where we think the next one is unmined, we know what we were looking for. So our guys are really, you know, the easy part is now, I hate to say that, and my technical team remind me, it's now, you know, capital is available. We know where silver market and gold is going to go in the world we're in. We've written too many checks to get through the pandemic. We had to, but there will be a price to pay, and that will lead to what we think could be the best silver market of our careers. And we've been through quite a few of them. That means capital's available. That means we're able to just attack this thing. It'll be 3 drill rigs. I would not be surprised if next year you see us go to 6 or 8 as things really start to heat up in an evolving silver and gold market. And we're going to do what we do. We're going to add ounces, big ounces, and we're going to move it towards economics with PEA type studies by this time next year. Because 2 things. If you're building a mine, that's what you do. And if you're going to sell an asset to a major, they don't buy drill holes. They buy ounces that have been de-risked with economic assessments. So that's really what we've been doing for 25 years. That's the asset. We're excited about it. If there are any questions, I'd be pleased to answer them. Before I do that, I will tell you a couple of things. All kinds of, just launched a new website. It's based on this verified technology. That's what I'm presenting on. Incredible amount of information. If you're going to invest in something, do a deep dive. Go get the information. And it's all here either on our website into the verify modeling. You can see so much information. I'd love you to go and have a look at that and do a deep dive. The kind of stuff I'm talking about is I just went in on the front page and went into the project. And, you know, we've got drone footage on here of the entire trend. Everything daylights. Remember, we walk on the veins, you can see them. But this is an example of assets that we have there. These are our drill roads across our project. We're guessing $10 to $15 million worth. That's what we bought. We didn't have to build any of them. And you can see how extensive it is. It just covers this whole thing. There's one of our drill rigs actually hanging up there to the right. You can see it banging some core off. But as you can see, to have all that, it's incredible information for anyone who really wants to understand. Now, well, I'm going to stop here. You can see right in the middle of the screen, that red area, that's that El Tigre structure coming to surface. You can see the vein going through that. And I think actually on that picture, you can see one of the openings to the old mine also. So get on the website, get into Verify. There's so much information in there. And anyone who's going to invest, they really should do their own due diligence. And that's why we base all of our information underground, our models on that technology. It's the best way to provide all the information to any potential investor. So really, that's all I have here on that, Clay. Oh, one last thing is we want to have shareholders from the United States. We know how important that is for resource companies in Canada to share our great discoveries with our friends of the South. So we do now have, and I upgraded it, the securities lawyer in me, we have an OTCQX listing for Silver Tiger. I think it's SLVTF is the symbol. And why that's important is it just makes it, that's the highest level we can have down there. It's fully transparent. All of our filings we have here in Canada are available, but it also makes it much more easy for you through your brokers or through however you buy stock to buy it in the United States. So, you know, that was done for the U.S. investor. We really want to present this new discovery that's going to quickly unfold and make sure that we have a wide shareholder base. So that's all I have, Clay. If there's any questions, I'd be more than pleased.
Hey, that's a lot, Glenn.
Yes, sir.
Great presentation. We're always excited to have you come on and tell us what's going on at El Tigre. It's a fantastic program. We continue to be, I guess, super impressed about how big the project area is and how many targets there are. That must be one of your biggest challenges, is to, you know, where do you go next with so many different high grade, you know, tells to go and to chase down. And like you said, it's like treasure hunting. It's got to be super exciting.
We're so disciplined, Clay. As I showed you that 6 kilometers in the middle over and over. We're not straying out of there for the next 6 or 8 months, because before we get to the next area, it's a year of work, so that when you go there to drill, you know where to drill. Right now, that news, and look, yesterday was the first press release. We're in a tough market right now. You can go see it. I mean, gold and silver have gone sideways. That's going to change.
Sure.
we will have many, many more press releases coming very regularly like that. And as the market and the gold and silver price start to rebound, which they will, we are going to be at the front of that wave. So, for your shareholders, I just think seeing that kind of vindication from the drill bit yesterday and seeing a stock that's 50 or 55 cents Canadian, I mean, this is such an opportunity to enter the story. I'm going to work very hard to make sure that the entrants in the next couple of weeks are not going to be at this level. And that's why we're starting this kind of marketing with guys like you. This story is going to rapidly evolve.
Oh, there's no question. This is a premier project, and you just have to look at what they did over at Las Chispas and Silvercrest, and I think you're going to march down along that similar path as you develop and build out the drill program. We're very excited to be a part of it. I just want to make a really quick announcement. Today's code word, you want to write this down for everyone on the call today, is swordfish, and it's swordfish. Any swordfish fishing up there? I don't think there is. Up there,
you know what? As a young boy, we have this joke running with Clay. Every time he has a password, it seems to be a fish, and I've caught most of them. As a young fellow in Cape Breton, the northern end of Nova Scotia province, my uncles and I had a swordfish boat, and my summer jobs was sword fishing up there, Clay. So you've hit another one that I've caught.
Bingo. All right. I think we're 3 for 4 or something like that.
I think we're 3 for 4. Yes.
I think we missed on bluefish. I think was the one we missed on. The blues.
Yeah.
Like I said, great presentation.
Thank you.
We would definitely open the floor up for some questions. If we have any questions from anyone that's on the call today, just go on the Q&A icon on your taskbar and type in your question. We'll ask Glenn, or if you'd like to ask him yourself, just raise your hand and we'll light up your microphone. You can ask him the question. I have a couple quick questions while we're seeing if anyone wants to queue up. And is Dave Duncan, is he down there full time right now?
No, Dave is, basically Dave is in Mexico for, 2 weeks here and then 2 weeks off. We have a full, there's 100 people on that mountain.
Yeah.
And we have a full operations manager, Devin DeVern, who is on site down there, a mining engineer. And he's kind of the guy who he's a young 35-year-old fellow who's just a real titan. And he doesn't leave the mountain. And you need that with, there's people don't realize 3 drill rigs, that's 75 to 100 people. You've got each drill rig has the team, but then there's 4 or 5 geologists on each drill rig. And then there's the support staff and the cooks and the cleaning. And it's beautiful. And I should mention, Clay, just while I do have a second, the kind of camp we have there is fantastic. I own all the land, so we are in a complete bubble. And remember, there's nothing around us. So as far as COVID, we've been able to we rebuilt sanitation. We have everybody going in there on a weekly basis is tested. We have our own medical team for COVID. We've had no issues. So it's almost like we're in the perfect location to have a little bubble world, sort of like we have here in Atlantic Canada, and manage things. And I couldn't be happier with the team, and it's working beautifully down there. And that's the guy who manages it. Dave is only there every 2 weeks out of the month. And he doesn't go to site a lot. He based out of Hermosillo with the technical team.
Gotcha.
He spends his time.
Makes sense. So you like the NBA, you got your little bubble going on.
100%. You got the general manager. He ain't up on the front lines.
Good enough. Got a question from the board here. Can you give us, there's a cap structure table in the deck, I believe. Can you go over the cap structure real quick with us?
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. There we go. Yeah, go ahead. There it is.
Okay, so you got right now 218 million outstanding, 260 fully diluted.
Yep.
Share price currently is, I think, US. We're looking at 37 today.
Correct.
So divide that by 3, about $68 million market cap, I think is what we came up with. $78 million market cap US.
A little over 100 Canadian. Yep.
Yep. And so when you divide that into 1.6 billion, I'll let everyone do their own math.
Okay, now you're stepping up there, Clayton.
No, it's just some simple math.
I don't want Eric over at Silvercrest getting cranky with me.
No, I never said that name. I just said that number.
We are in the first inning with Silver Tiger.
I know.
Many times, and I can confirm that
totally understand.
Our value is going to greatly increase from where we are. We're just starting. We're just getting going. Basically.
Yeah, it's such a big play, and you've got so many targets to go after. And
absolutely.
For everyone that's, the high grade here is king. I mean, you're talking the old El Tigre mine producing at 2,000 kilograms. If you do the math right now, that's like $1,700 or $1,630 rock US at 75 to 1. So this is some very, very expensive ore, very valuable ore. We have another question.
One thing I want to say, the last thing I want to say is, what we love most as miners is we know we have the high grade, super high grade silver veins, but to have those from surface and to have those surrounded by a wide alteration zone that makes the first part of the mining here open pit.
Yep.
That is an incredible advantage for us, and people have to realize how important that is. We're as excited about the wide zone as we are about the super high grade.
There's no question the value of that low hurdle startup capital is so key,
exactly.
especially in these markets today.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ideal. We have another question. You've kind of covered this a little bit with your conversation about Eric Sprott. Can you kind of give us a little bit more of a thumbnail on other institutional owners and what percentages they own in the company?
So that I don't want to get into individual names.
Of course, that's okay. I understand that.
If someone wants to contact me directly, I'll tell them who the institutions were.
Okay.
They were all so that 11 million that came in was all institutions. There was no retail in that. There were 8 institutions. They got far less than they wanted, each of them, and they were all institutions that only invest in precious metals. That's their area of expertise.
Yep.
So all of that investment was very sophisticated individuals that did their due diligence long before they wrote a check. So that's a real check mark for us. But I really want people to go, look, I'm going to tell you how great this is. Clay, steer them towards the analyst coverage from the bank.
Yeah, you're sending me those notes.
That's independent. That's mining engineers and analysts. And go see what they're saying about the asset and what they said yesterday after our first drill results came out. That, for me, that's what an investor should be looking for.
We'll be sending that out with the feedback survey.
Absolutely.
So people have a chance to look at that.
Yeah, that's important.
Great. Like I said, great to have you on. Great project, great team. We've known you guys for a long time through, Brad and everyone that you kind of associate with.
Yeah.
And the project just is one of those real unique projects. It's once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm sure that you guys are just thrilled that you got your hands on it. And it's really just a tremendous opportunity for investors to get kind of back into an opportunity that we can kind of look and see how this movie might end by looking at some of these other projects that have, moved their ounces up to the 100+ million ounces of silver equivalent. So that's your goal, or more than that. And we look forward to having you back on in the future when you have either the next round of drill results or next quarterly results or something like that. And we do urge everyone to, and we'll send links out to the company's website, which is very comprehensive. It has the Verify system is really a fantastic way to look at these mines, the aerial drone shots, the aerial maps and plan views with the 3-dimensional underground look at the deposits is tremendous. So it's really a great tool. We're really happy that you guys have employed that.
Fantastic.
Any further comments before we wrap it up, Glenn?
No, I'm just basically pleased. Thank you for taking the time. I think this is a wonderful opportunity, and I think through this rest of this fall, for anyone who's interested to get a position in our company, we have a very bright future. We know where we're taking it, and I think you'll be very pleased if you do decide to become shareholders, along with my team, and me. Thank you for the time, and Clay, always a pleasure to get on with some of your colleagues and be able to share the story of Silver Tiger.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is all ours too. So until next time, Glenn, thanks so much for coming on today, and for everyone that's on the call today. We appreciate your time. We'll get you some additional information out on the company. Try and get that survey back to us as quickly as you can. We look forward to having you on a future podcast with Torrey Hills Capital. Until then, be safe and be well. Thanks a lot, Glenn. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Clay. We'll see you. Thanks, folks.
You bet. Cheers.